Hi guys, and welcome back to episode 13 of season 1. And today we are discussing financial stewardship on Man's Glory Podcast, where we keep it real biblical. So let's dive into this money thing, right? So what you want to hear first? Because I just like something just popped in my head, but I don't know.
What I want to hear? Well, the definition of financial stewardship.
Okay.
What that means is planning ahead and making sure you're able to take care of yourself. That's me summing it up.
Stewardship. Being a good steward over what you have. So, first things first. We always love asking for more. God, give me more. I don't care what you got, you want more. If you making $7.25 an hour, you want a higher pay raise, right? If you got a 03 Corolla, you want a 2026 Expedition, right? Whatever it is that you have. The one thing I don't hear nobody asking for is more kids.
Well, some people
I am.
Some people have
and others
a multitude of children.
You always are asking for more. But this is something I want you to think about. In what you have, are you a good steward over what you have? And so what I'm asking is, are you managing and handling what you have currently? Because if I go and ask God to increase my income, increase my salary, increase my surroundings, but I'm not being a good steward over what I already have. Because what does it sound like if we say, I'm gonna say it, where is it? We're gonna leave him out of it. Let's say my salary $200,000 a year, and my salary $200,000 a year. So after taxes, we'll say that's a good 180, 175 if we're being generous. 175, 180 if we're being generous. And out of that, I have 4 car notes, all of which are $1,500 a piece per month, right? And 3 tags. And let's say I got insurance, so my insurance will put my car insurance up to be $800 a month, and then I'm paying my medical insurance. Then I have not insurance,
life insurance.
Life insurance. That is the insurance, yeah. Your life insurance. They say I got a policy, and my policy like $200 a month or $50 a month, whatever the policy is. And then my utility bills, $300 on this bill, $400 on that bill. I got gas for all 4 of my vehicles, so I'm spending maybe $250 a month on gas, or $250 every 2 weeks on gas. And then my house note is, we'll say $1,500 a month, or whatever the case is, right? And so then I'm still having to buy groceries. And then I'm still having to
put money in the church that you attend.
Took the words right on my mouth.
And
I'm putting money in church, and I'm going and I'm doing this and third. So if my salary $200,000, but my take home is $175,000, but that's a year, and we divide $175,000 by 12 is how much? I want to give y'all some extra numbers to think about, so I'm gonna do it. If my take home is $175,000 a year, so per month I'm bringing home
$14,523.
I'm bringing home $14,583.33. This is a month, right? Mm-hmm. And so in that month, though, I'm spending $13,000. We just say I'm spending $13,000 on years and daily things. But I'm asking God to give me more. Oh, and I'm paying like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month in credit card debt. Outside of whatever other stuff you got going on, student loans and everything else. How can I ask God to give me more money in what I have now if I'm not being a good steward over what I do have now? I'm wasting it. We're going to say specifically for me. I ain't wasting my money, but I'm saying specifically for me. I know I got a shopping problem. I love to shop. It's not really a problem, but I love to shop. If I'm spending $2,000 and $4,000 and $5,000 a month studying buying clothes and shoes, to the fact that I have no more room for it, but I'm asking God, I need more money because every week my account in the negative.
You need to check yourself.
Why would He increase my income when I'm mishandling where I am right now? Because overindulgence is actually a sin.
It is in anything.
It's called gluttony. That's right?
Yeah, but
gluttony.
Prime example. I'm gonna use me for example. That way, won't nobody get mad. So, when I was younger and I had my job living with my mom, so what I did, this is how I did. Just say for 3 months or 6 months, whatever I chose, I saved every dime, except gas, and food and necessities. Then I will go out. We'll just say if I did for 3 straight months. Because I can't remember, it's been so long. And if I just saved every check except for my necessities, gas, and food. Then the 4th month, I will take once, because I got paid every 2 weeks. I've always worked and got it paid every 2 weeks. So I will take that check and go shopping. That's how I save money. That's how I did. And ever since I can remember, I've always had a budget. I've always written my bills down. And I always had a goal.
I used to find her budget when I was little.
Yeah, that's what I did. And I had a friend. At least she used to call me because that's what I did. And I didn't mind. I would help my friends budget their money. And back then I didn't have... when I met her? Oh, I did get a checking account. Because I was going to say, at first I was going to say I didn't have checking. I just had a savings. But when I purchased my second car, the first one I paid cash for was a lemon. So when I made my first purchase that I had a payment, that's when I got my checking account. And I would help her balance her checkbook. But I've always written things down. This is what I'm going to do. Blah, say this and blah, say that. And I've always saved. Because what's the purpose? Working and all your money gone. And I'm not...
And paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah. And I hear people say, you live above your means. And like she say, God bless you with this, but then you want more and more. First, let's appreciate
what we have,
what He has given us. If it's $3, because I remember working. I think the first job I had was $3.35 an hour. So that's way back then, back in 80.
My God.
Yes.
And we complaining about $7.25.
And y'all complaining about $7.25.
I've never made.
And then I think minimum wages went up after from 3. It was $3.35. It might have. Did it go up to $4.25? But just gradually. But it doesn't matter. But still, yeah. Because I remember, I think to fill up my car gas was 89 cents a dollar. 89 cents a gallon, I think, or 99 cents or something like that. But anywho, you have to be good stewards of what you have. Be appreciative. Because in the word it says, a good man set aside something for his family. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we ought to be appreciative. Like I said on a podcast earlier, I remember when my husband I was going to this church in Belzoni, and I think the man was a painter. And he was saying in Bible class how he thanked the Lord for his job. And so I'm thinking, God, I'm at work running. Have I ever thanked you for this job that I asked you for? And sometimes we just take things for granted. Thank Him. And I did thank Him up there running that stuff and say, well, Lord, I thank you for this job and whatever else you're going to do for me. And yes, after that, I can't say immediately after that, but I did get a promotion, a raise. But we have to be grateful and we have to do things better. Being a good steward, and that's just like, this is what I told the people. I was secretary of the church. Money. You pay your bills. The church home that you have chosen to be your home should be one of your bills. How can you attend the church house and you claim this place as your home, your church family, and you're not paying anything there? You have to pay bills. You have water bill, light bill, gas bill, Wi-Fi, and if you're not finished paying for the bill, you have to pay for the bill. So if you just easily add what you're going to put into church as a bill, there's no problem. Just like everything else you do. And I hear people say, pay yourself 10% off the top. Whatever you do, you put down your church home in that too. Make sure you cover your necessities.
Let's just, for a second, we're going to dabble in this little tithe and offering thing. Because I didn't grow up under the whole mindset of tithing and all it. So my understanding of it may not be the accurate understanding of it. But from what I know, people say, you tithe. You pay your 10%. But everybody say 10%. So is it 10% of what your check is? Is that how you get paid? Like whether it's weekly or every 2 weeks or monthly, you pay your 10% of their income. Is it 10% of your salary? Or is it still the same thing?
That's the same thing. Like they say 10% of your gross or your net. If you're going to pay 10%, but what if you're able to pay more than 10%? So let's not put a limit on it, but go ahead.
So here's my thing on if they saying they telling you pay 10% of your income, right? So we'll say if you somebody who making minimum wage, you only working 20, 25 hours a week, and your check is $350. We'll be nice and say your check $320 after taxes, and they telling you to pay 10% of your $320. So you putting $32 in church, but your bills for that 2-week check that you got, your bills is $500. Is that smart or ignorant to go put $32 in church when you already don't have enough? Your paycheck not enough to cover your $500 worth of bills.
So you saying put nothing in church?
If your bills, not including your church, not including what you put in church, if let's say for the month you bring home $700, but your bills are $850, you can't even afford to pay your bills. But before you cover your bills, you gonna go put money in church. That doesn't make sense to me. That's just like if I tell you, yeah, because I'm not going to use her because it was an extra example. So we're going to replace with me and you because I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. If I say, hey, Mom, I need $250 to go pay for my tag for my Corolla, right? How much? I need $250 to pay for my tag for my Corolla. But when I got paid, I paid all my bills minus that tag knowing I had to get it. And I went out and I spent $400 at the mall. So now my account in the negative. I really need $200 to pay for my tag, but I need the extra $50 to be put in my account. So I paid my bills minus one and suffice my habit. Then I came to you to cover up that bill. Do that make sense?
And I can't do it.
You have to take care of. You got to do what's important. It's called necessity. You need to put it. It is your duty to take care of your church. That's the church you're going to. Because one, how you gonna ask the church for something you ain't never putting nothing in church? That's number one. Number two, how you say you attending the church but you're not helping pay the bills. Now I will never tell you to be putting into an offering to pray a pastor. That ain't what I'm saying. There are bills that have to be paid to the church, and the employees of the church are not a bill. Because how you an employee of the church, but that ain't what we at. My point is,
that ain't our business.
If you don't have it to give, how you gonna give it? So now that's when we get into the whole budgeting thing. And I'm a type person, even without childcare, I want to pay people top. Baby, you don't even deserve what I'm paying you, but I want to pay you above and beyond. Because in my mind, people need to be able to afford to live. And it's like my mama said, if people afford to live the lifestyle that they can. If you only make $7.25 an hour, you know how to make your ends meet. I understand it, but then also I don't understand it because I feel like
go ahead.
Because I truly believe nobody should be making $7.25 an hour. I don't care if you working at the goddamn gas station or a fast food restaurant.
But that's your belief.
And that is my belief because and I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of times somebody at McDonald's work harder than anybody else you know. But the person that owns is the one that getting all the money.
But what have I always told you all? First of all, I've always told my children, meaning my children, nieces, nephews, anybody that deals with me, when it comes to working. So when I say children, I'm talking about Bennett, Jazz, LJ, because they was working out there in Stoneville. And I always told them, I far more rather to work hard making good money than hard making little money. So whatever job you have to appreciate. But when I said the first job I had, it was $325, and I was at home with my parents. But I made it. No, I didn't have all those bills because I was still having my mama. But I had to take care of what I wanted to do. So you learn to live off of those things. And that's how you build up your life. Because this child wants to pay everybody, like she say, all this money. First of all, people got to earn the money. And that's the way the world designed it. We didn't design it. You pay them accordingly. But I also as you show me or you prove to me that you are deserving, then the money goes up. You know, and that's just the way it is. And that's just the way I told her. Anything I'm going to be in a business with you in because we are not billionaires. So we have to move accordingly. Yes, it's good to have a kind, loving heart. Because we want to see everybody make it. But everybody cannot make it if you going down. The word of God say, love thy neighbor as thyself, not better than thyself. And if I'm giving you all my money, that means I'm loving you better than I love me. And we're not going to do that. Go ahead.
I also have a flaw in my mindset that I assume that everybody works as hard as I do. So everybody's not deserving of big money because everybody does not work the same. Majority of people prefer for a check but no work.
True.
I don't know where his mindset come from. I don't understand it, but that's just what that is. So let's just get into how to be a good steward over your finances. The first thing is first, knowing what you bring home. A lot of people don't know the difference. So it's called financial literacy. A lot of people don't know the difference between your gross and your net pay, right? Because somebody offer you a big chunk of a salary, saying this how much you make a year, that's not what you bring home.
No.
Because there's this thing called the government. And
Taxes.
what do they love to do? Tax. They tax your salary, and then what you bring home is taxed again. Because that's just how America works, apparently.
And once you retire,
you still being taxed. So, then from that, after you figure out what your actual take home is, whether you're paying weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever, I hope ain't nobody paying quarterly, whatever the case is, then you create your budget. If you know you bringing home $500 a month, your bills need to be within $500 a month. Unless you got another source of income you finna go bring in, right? That means you got to stay within your budget. Your bills can't be $600, $700, $800 a month, and you only bring it home $500 because you'll never get out of the hole. And that's what a lot of us make a mistake. Okay, well, I'm just gonna go get a loan. Okay, but how you gonna pay a loan back? Because they gonna hit you with interest. Then everything with the credit card, because then you still have interest that you have to pay on that credit card. It's a cycle, and you keep falling in that cycle. That's how we end up in debt. Right? Because you keep going out, even with Affirm and Afterpay and all these things. I can personally tell you, my balance, my limit on Affirm is high. It's high as I'll get out.
That's how they get you.
I'm talking about that thing is fat. Furthermore, my limit on Afterpay, high as I'll get out. And it look good.
Until you get the charger.
Until you start trying to think, like, oh, well, you got the option of paying every 2 weeks or once a month for 6 months or once a month, this and third. For me, if I use Affirm and Afterpay, I'm going to always go for the one that has no interest. Unless I made a purchase that was over $1,000, which I have done several times. Then I go for the one that let me spread out. I don't care. And my thing, too, if I don't have it in my account, I'm not going to make the purchase. Even if I have it in my account, I cannot fathom a big chunk of money coming out of my account at one time. I just can't do it. So the fact that I have Affirm Afterpay at my disposal, I'm going to use it. However, I know that my money coming in can suffice my money that goes out. Everybody cannot say that. So if you're one of those people that cannot, you got to learn how to budget and budget well. And so I don't know how to really do her savings. I'm going to tell you how I do mine. I get paid every 2 weeks for my salary position. You said every job you ever had, you got paid every 2 weeks. Yeah. I worked one job.
Everyone but one.
I worked one job for 18 months. They paid me on a monthly basis. I hated it. But aside from them paying me on a monthly basis, at that time I had 5 other incomes. So I was getting paid every week regardless. But I hated that my salary job paid me once a month. Baby, I hated that. But every week I was getting paid 2 or 3 times a week on some weeks. But that salary job, hated it. I would never play my employees once a month. That's crazy to me. Behooves me. But anyway, so I apologize to you teachers out there. I can't see how you do it. You're better than me.
Well, you do saying what you saying.
No, as far as the way I go, like right now, I got my check going to 4 different locations. A piece of it goes to my retirement. A piece of it goes to my savings. A piece of it goes to my bill paying account. And a piece of it goes to my spend account. And then from that, I have a spend and save account, which is another, say I don't be spending out of it, say every now and then I might swipe it for something. Then I have a investment account. And then I have a savings binder. So anytime I have spare cash, this, and the third, I done collected a bunch of change. I take it to the coin master. I stole one of my dad's wallet. It goes in my. Focus.
I'm glad I have access to her account, so I'll be taking that money
I wish
back.
you would.
I am, baby.
It goes into my savings binder. Now, here's the disconnect for my brain. Oh, and I put my money in church. Like people say, the more, what's the song? The more you give, the more God gives to you.
That's it.
But also, God didn't tell your dumb man to put your whole check in the church, knowing you ain't paid your bills. Because he gonna look at you like you stupid. Like, he was like, what? Then you gonna ask me for more. I gave you, and you gave it away. No. But this is the problem, the flaw in my mental. And when I tell you I'm self-aware, I'm very much self-aware. Because here's my flaw. My idea of saving, right? And I'm going to tell you what Rita said to me. When I say I save, I set a savings goal. So if one account is to have $6,000 by the end of 6 months, $2,000 by the end of this, whatever we'll say, a fellowship cycle, and then $4,000 over here by the end of what month is this? By the end of May. If I reach that goal, okay, now I got to set a new goal. But in the process of me trying to reach that $6,000 goal, and I had to go in there and take money out of it.
Because your car broke down.
Because, we'll say the tire exploded on one car and the alternator broke down on another. Your point of your savings is what? In the event, it's the emergency. In the event something happens, you go in your savings and get it.
Emergency fund.
Jazz brain don't work that way. Now Jazz has had a heart attack because she had to go into her savings and spend the money. And so Rita says, that's what it's for. Jazz said, no, it's not. So then Rita's response was, well, then what's the purpose you having a savings? I said, so I can reach the savings goal. She said, okay, so what you do after you set a new goal? In my mind, if I set aside $6,000, then I had to go into that $6,000 and spend $2,500 of it to fix 2 vehicles. Now I got to make that $2,500 back. Then I got to make another goal. Rita said that's ignorance. I understand what she's saying, but also my brain won't let me compute it. It won't.
Okay. So let's go all the way back to this when she was saying about the afterpay and stuff. Well, when I was coming along, for us, I know we didn't have afterpay.
No, this time this came.
But anywho, me in my young age had a credit card. And I think the limit was $10,000. And it was Discover. Or maybe American Express or something. Maybe I had 2 of that. And
fun fact.
Huh?
Fun
and
fact.
I met a man. And he chose me and we got married.
I was like, you better not be talking about my daddy.
And is. So, you know what, I had
That's poor choosing on her part.
or whatever. I didn't choose him, he chose me. But I said that to say, let's get this, you know. But
because his credit was trash.
You live and you learn. And saying that, and so me, myself, I believe in, so I say, you know, everybody need a card for emergency. Mm-hmm. And I've always taught my children, credit card, have cash on you. You know, people just run around with all this plastic, but you need cash on you. What if everything shut down? Okay, and what if you know, so you need cash on you. Okay, and so like I said, how I saved. That's how I saved before I got married.
Wow. You said keeping cash on you, right?
Right.
So what did I say to you Friday? When you was on the phone, I was on my way out of town for my fellowship. And I had to stop at the gas station and give me something because y'all was so tired. And so I said to you what?
Every time she go out of town, her credit card, something wrong with it.
Not my credit cards, like my bank cards, like they always try to malfunction, right? I was at a training. And I was at the training for the organization. The organization supposed to pay for the gas. Why I'm getting to thinking instead of it will not swipe. Will not swipe.
And what did I say?
It was only for $40. And she was just like, but when I got back, I found out she cut my card off.
I didn't cut your card off.
She reported my card for fraud because these people called her and asked her, did she make a charge?
They emailed me.
They emailed her, whatever.
Asked her, I did not make a charge. But here's
the thing. The card they asked her about did not belong to her. It was my card.
Well, they asked me
she
about
never checked the numbers on the card. She just said, I ain't made no purchase. No. Knowing both of us got asked and we got our own cards. So they had cut my card off and never said anything. And until I was up there in this gas station, the car started declining, talking about reported for fraud or whatever it said. No, it said closed by owner or something because I had never heard that before.
But you called them, didn't they? They told you that.
No.
Oh,
I was
well,
on
heck,
phone
I
with
don't
you.
know.
I didn't. When I came there, they said they closed it down. They said, well, we sent you an email. I said, no, you didn't. And come find out, so I ain't know what they was talking about. So I'm out somewhere lost in the sauce with
But
a
keep cash
cut-off
on
card. So anyway, this past weekend, I told her, I said, every time now my card was fine then. Well, this was my first card, but I was like, every time I go somewhere, like all my cards just like to malfunction. She said, that's why you keep cash on you. So then him and I was just like, well, I ain't got nothing I got to go buy, so I'm not really worried about it. Because I was going to do the cash back then. I said, how about and I hadn't had to swipe my card for anything. Everything was covered. But I went and got Starbucks twice. Starbucks this morning, Starbucks yesterday. And I'm at Ronald Church. Never crossed my mind about the offering. I'm sitting
You
there.
didn't have money to put in the church?
Embarrassed. Do you tell me I am? First of all, this is my first time visiting these people's church.
How dare you?
Embarrassed. I said, oh my God, it's like I was never raised right. I'm in here, baby. I'm in here. I'm looking around. I'm trying to figure out people moving. I said, oh my God. They doing all. Yeah, I'm over in this purse. I done pulled out all $2. I'm going through everything. There ain't a lick of greenback in there with number plastic. So I'm texting Ronald. Mind you, this is Ronald's father's church. Thank God his parents were not there. But he up there on the drums. I see him the embarrassment. I said, I have no greenbacks on me. I said, y'all doing the offering. So he started laughing. He said, it's cool. I got you. I said, no, send me the cash out. I need to do something. And I'm thinking this lady's going to come back. I was like, lady, I need the cash out. The lady never come back, Mom. And I'm over here in my mind. Nobody's paying attention to it. In my mind, all eyes on me like, this heathen.
Sitting up in church house
with your 6-inch stilettos on, your big doing their birthday. Watch me get out the Cadillac. They're like, you ain't putting no money in church. I'm over here embarrassed.
We see why you able to live like you living. Because you ain't giving nothing
paying
up.
nothing to the Lord. I said, I was so hurt. So I texted, I'm like, Ronald. He was like, it's okay. I got you. I'm like, no, sir. People are staring. Ain't nobody looking at me. Nobody even thought about me. But in my mind, how dare you roll up here in your 6-inch stilettos with your long first lady dress on, you're doing it work on your arm, and your little Cadillac. I'm talking about nice little full tank of gas. Didn't put nothing up in this big
what
church.
did Mama tell you? Always
keep cash. And that was the first thing hit my head. He said, I got you this time. He said, they ain't gonna say nothing.
It ain't about
you don't know
them
what
saying
they
nothing.
saying. I'm saying a whole lot. Because if you come to my church, you don't put no money. I'm finna talk about. I'm just playing. But I felt some type of way because people do. Like if you want to attend somebody at church, I'm not saying you got to put something in there. Like, but that just floored me. So back to her point, keep cash on you.
And I know a lot of people don't believe in carrying cash, but anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
I would never want to be in a predicament that I have nothing on me, whether it's to help somebody or you went to the church house.
I had a bucket of change in the car.
Well, you should have went in there and dumped it in there.
I would have been embarrassed.
Why?
Because
you riding in a Cadillac?
That didn't even cross my mind. Right down the highway, baby. You see it? Okay. So, what the me riding the Cadillac thing never crossed my mind. What crossed my mind is if I had to get up to go get the money now, it'd be like I'm walking out on the offering. All bad. Mm-hmm. All bad. You don't put that church finger walk out. I always keep cash on.
So now, are you gonna keep cash on you? Because I've been telling y'all this since you've been going to college, since you left my house.
By the time this video post goes live on Wednesday morning, your girl will be a third of the way to Texas, and best believe it's gonna be at least $200-300 worth of cash money on me.
You have to say how much money on you. But like I told my son, my baby boy, your cash, hide it. Put it somewhere. Lock it up somewhere that you got cash on you. You need to have cash on you. Look at her. She in a place. I'm talking about, look at you. You didn't even have money to put in the church house.
You're making it worse.
I'm not. You brought it up. Anywho, so what was I talking about?
I won't tell nothing else. Saving.
I was talking about savings. And so I was saying how I did do it, and my mind went blank. But how I set a goal for us now. We are nearing retirement age. And
she's talking about her man, not me.
I said that by the time I retired, one of my homes to be paid off. Some people got several. That's not my business. But I know what I want to. Several homes.
Oh, say what?
I'm talking about me. But when it came to me and doing for my family and helping people,
You read 2 days in a row. 2 Sundays in a row.
Well, red is my favorite color. When I have it to give, I did and I gave. And I believe in helping. Just like our children to a certain extent. You cannot handicap your children. My parents raised me. You go to college, get an education, you get a job. But I chose not to go to college. I chose to work. And I've been working and working and working and working. And that's what I instilled in our kids. Because you have to take care of yourself. And in order for
Unless you get a sugar daddy or a sugar mama.
You still got to take care of yourself because you got to keep yourself up for that sugar daddy or that sugar mama.
That's why I like Sweet Loaves.
And anywho, in order for you to make it in this world, there's a scripture that says a man shouldn't eat if he doesn't work. So I said that to say, what that look like, you're not working. And every time I tell them, you asking me for some work to take care of yourself. If you have a family, work to take care of your family.
Me supporting your habit.
Yeah, I can't do that. And yes, I believe most people, I'm not going to say all people fall on hard times. That's why you should say, you set a goal. That was set a goal to have something and say, and I have been to the point, say, cars have broke down or something has been wrecked, and like I told her, that's what it's for, to take it and do what you need to do with it. And it has been a time, like when you, I remember when James and I, because when we started off on this journey, and we was going to different churches and Bible classes with people, and we was talking about how we just used to help people. We were saved. People want to buy this. People do that. And so one of the men at the Bible class said that a fool and his money shall soon part. So I had to look at that thing. Because I'm being foolish about it. Being a good steward. If you taking what you got and you always giving and loaning to somebody, let's not be a handicap for people. And I have told folk about the hard times that we have fallen on. Nobody helped us out. That's what builds you. That's what makes you. Starting off as a young couple, we had to work. We put the work in. And people sometimes tend to think, well, I want what so-and-so got. You don't know what that person went through to get to that. So walk your own shoes as I walk mine. We're all different. But as I learn things, I can show you. So what I did to the best of my ability, taught my children. We have 4. Are they all doing the same thing? I'm going to say 5 because I claim Bennett is mine, Did they all do the same thing? Marvin, Bennett. And I remember him saying when he chose to buy that house, the landlord, what his mom was renting for, said the man was going to sell the house. So he said he was going to buy it. He paid for that house in 5 years. And he was like, TT, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm like, Bennett, I want my house to be like you and grandma. Y'all house is small, y'all had on. We didn't start off, just doing that. But he had to do it within that time because God was calling him away from here. And so and he did a lot of things. And yes, we helped him. I bought paint, got in there, my shoulder, I had my shoulder bone, I had broke the shoulder out the heel. We painted, yeah. But we helped him. And he took care of himself. But he saw something he wanted and he went for it. Jasmine, the house. You get in here, Mom, I want to change this, I want to change that. Help them. Not on her, the rest of them. We helped the other one. She moved, the oldest child. We helped her move to Memphis or wherever she was going. Even the one up there with all his children. And so when I said unto my husband, this is Rita, I'm not giving all my money to all the other 3 children. Because we got a baby boy that gonna need help. Why? Because everybody in life needs help. What you shaking your finger for?
You said the other 2.
No, 3, Jazz. You are a child of mine. We haven't helped you do anything.
That's not what I said.
So what are you talking about?
But when I heard you make that statement, you said you're 2, not the other 3.
No. Everybody. When I said that statement to Jane, I was talking about all 3 of y'all. Because y'all was old and we had a baby. the baby boy. And that's what I meant. I'm not taking about what I said. Whatever it was, you cannot, mom, dad, take all your monies and give to one child. If you got 5, if you're wise, you got to try to save some, because 9, 10 out of 10, you're going to have to help them all a little bit somewhere. And if you say we ain't never helped you, that'll be a tell. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know. Maybe we talking about 2 different things. But what I'm saying is helping the kids.
Your initial point was, you said the fool and money should shoot part. You was talking about all y'all doing for all these other people.
Yeah, but I got away from that child.
No, you just came because you went up to this rant about Burnett. The point was, a fool and they money should shoot part. You gotta learn how to stay on
That's
top.
scripture.
So now, if you're not being a good steward, and I said stewardship over your money, she's still talking about Burnett. That was to bring her back. A fool and their money still shooting part, because you helping all these people, but you ain't thinking about what you got. Point was, because you was trying to get to when you retire, you want your house paid off and no debt. You want to be debt free when you retire. That's the point you were trying to get to.
I had done all that.
You had played it. We're gonna run it
when
back.
You play it back, you gonna see it.
So now the point is, you're working to be what?
Debt free.
She done helping y'all, so don't call X for no more money. I'm just playing. That's not what she was saying, but I'm gonna say it. Secondly, the point, what the purpose is knowing how to be a good steward of your money. We can give you examples all day, telling you the whole life history of Rita and her son Marvin Jr.
I did not tell that history. I win our feelings.
No, I need you to stay on topic.
I am on topic. Did Sister Brown tell you about yourself? Let's keep going.
What she got to say about me?
About the topics. Let's go.
What?
Let's go. Come on. We'll talk about it later.
Anyway.
Being good stewards of your monies.
Anyway. First thing first, know what you bring home. Number 2 is setting a budget. If you know you bring home X, Y, and Z, your bill should not expand that. If you have debt, set up a plan to pay off your debt. You need to do that. I don't know who these people telling you can die in debt, whatever, because when you die, you got to pay it back. But don't nobody want to walk around here living in debt. Your credit score should not be trashed. You can say it's this racial made-up thing, whatever. You should want better. Because, believe it or not, that's the mentality that we just walk in. You should have a good credit score. And if you make the mistake of thinking, oh, okay, well, all this stuff set up against me. Okay, but you got the keys to get out of it. Get out that mindset. And make some shape, right? I don't care what your take home is. You can survive off your take home.
Okay.
Furthermore, you can make moves to get out to increase that take home. But the point is, if you're not being a good steward over the take home that you have, why would God elevate you to the next level? And that's not just in finances. That's in anything. You want to get out this small place. Okay, cool. You're not doing what you should be doing with that place. You're not keeping this clean. You're not keeping the yard cut. All of these things.
Okay, let's say, Jazz was talking about, not even about money, a small apartment, a small house, and you want something larger. So let's talk about those of us who say we are believers. So since Jesus is the King, and everything in this earth belongs to him. And if you are a descendant of him, that means it belongs to you. So act like it.
That mean go take stuff.
That is not what I'm saying. What I was finna say.
Somebody finna say, you know what? You right.
No. Act like you are a descendant of Jesus Christ. Live your life to the fullest. Do what he commands us to do, and all these things shall be added unto you. Seek him first. The kingdom of God and his righteousness in everything. And yes, we have to go through times to prove ourselves, to know where we are. So with being a good steward, what is a small house, you want a large house. Appreciate it. Keep it clean. Love it. With a family, like Jazz said, well, she don't know people ask for many kids. Some do. I knew a girl my age had 10 children. That's what she wanted. Because the word did say be fruitful and multiply. How you do that? By getting married, taking care of them, being fruitful and multiplying, teaching the word of God, live by the word. You have as many as the Lord bless you with. You know.
Financial stewardship. Stewardship in general, you have to be a good steward of what you have been blessed with. How can we ask for more if we're mishandling what we already have? And that needs to be your mindset. Every day when you wake up and you grumpy saying your car is garbage, or you want new furniture, you want a bigger place, you want to be making more money, you want to have a different lifestyle, this and the third. If those are the statements you're making while you're watching these other people live this filtered life that you see via social media, and you walking around here complaining about what you do have, number one, there's somebody who is in a worse off situation than you are. Number two, you're not going to ever get out of your situation watching what somebody else doing. They showing you their filtered life. Number three, what are you doing to make it? Because if I can say, oh, I wish I was making 7 figures and I had a big nice car, ain't about what you would do with it, what you doing to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Because you saying you want a truck, you want this, you want that, but you ain't doing nothing to increase. Even if you working at McDonald's and you make $7.50 an hour, what are you showing up on time every day? Are you going above and beyond? You can be promoted to the next position, to the next position where you become manager, whatever case it is, to where you become a franchise owner. To now you got the income coming in so where you can do X, Y, Z. What are you doing over what you already have? You're not showing no respect and no thankfulness for where you are now. So why would I elevate you?
I got 2 comments.
Please don't let them lead off.
I remember when my husband said to me, in order to show God appreciation, be grateful for what you have.
Contentment.
Take care of that what you have. I have a vehicle, and I want another one, she said, and I'm not taking care of this one. You know, so how are you being grateful for what you have?
She know what I'm going to say.
I don't. Go ahead.
You don't know what I'm going to say?
I don't.
You just say you have a what? I know you just using an example. Let me tell you something. For women, get a man like my mama man. Because I don't care what vehicle she got. Oh, he gonna upgrade it. He'll upgrade it. He gonna upgrade it every 6 months if he can. Baby, hold on. Let me finish my statement. If somebody accidentally taps that bad baby, turn it in for a new one. Get a man like Rita. And that's why I'm single. Because if you ain't like my daddy, I don't want you. But upgrade my Cadillac.
But that's why I don't, like he kept saying for you, what kind of car you want? I don't tell my husband what type of car I want. Because if he hear me say it out my mouth,
he going to get it.
That man of mine's going to make it happen.
But in itself, that's been a good steward over what she got. Oh, this is nice. Oh, I wish I had that. Steward, I got it. Don't worry about it, Gina. He will slip the Gina.
And I do have a good husband. The next thing I was going to say, because you jumping there, you remember where we from?
I got something for that too.
What was I finna say?
It was 2 comments.
Yeah, you
be content. Your husband said, be content over what you got. Got to show appreciation.
Now, how you think? Yeah, you take care of that. The other one gone. Because
it had nothing to do with what we was going to say.
Yes, it was. It did. By being thankful for what you have, you know, and it's gone. Say maybe it'll come back. Maybe it may not.
You want to get a man like Rita got?
I have a good husband, but he has a good wife.
And men, be a husband like my daddy.
Love your wives. The name of this podcast is Man's Glory. And the wife is the man's glory.
So when she says she want a new vehicle, go make it happen. I don't care if you only bring home $200 more. You better go get her that $15 million car. I'm just playing.
Because a good wife is not going to let her husband get in debt if she can help it. So you know what y'all can afford.
And also, it says whatever a man give a woman, she multiply. And I heard a man say this on I think it was a video on TikTok. He said, you give her a few dollars, she turn into a savings account.
True.
You give her a seed, she turn into a baby.
You better ask him.
You give her a business plan, she turn into a flourishing business.
You better ask him.
give a woman good, and she gonna make it great.
Great.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
That is
all I'm
true.
saying. And now that's being a good steward.
Oh,
Because that's a man being a good steward over his household.
he chose. He said, when a man chooses
Find it.
a wife, he finds it's a good thing. So when you choose your helpmeet that God has given you, it's gonna flourish. And James used to say, well, if it's something, if he wanted to do something, and if I was totally against it, he wouldn't do it. He say, but if he saw me with because he know I'm gonna come back and show him how we can do it and work it out. So now, what I was finna say too, because she just brought this thought to my head. When we first got married, Jane used to get up and tell people, we used to go to churches, you know, I give my wife my whole check, and all I get out of it is $20. I'm like, what you stop telling people that? Because we both had an allowance, you know. But, and he made the statement one day, the day I walk in that house and flip on that light switch, and there's no lights, we got a problem. Now, no, and you know, so what we do is we are together. So he has an allowance, I have. Now he is bigger than mine because, you know, he drives truck. But at that time, his was still bigger than mine. You know, but that's what it is. He the man. You know, like he tell me, well, I spend my money on y'all. Oh well, that's your job to take care of your family.
He sure just gassed up my tank before I went out of town. But then also, I don't have a man. And it said, when a man leaveth mother and father clinging to his wife, I ain't got no man. Ain't nobody cleaving to me, so I'm clinging to my penis.
So you ain't left mother and father?
Oh, I left.
You have?
I left. But then also, it's your man's job to take care of his princess until he give me to another man. Nah.
Y'all want a prince?
Princess.
Princess? Y'all want a wife?
Let me tell you something. You can want what you want, but if you can't afford this wife, leave me where I'm at. Because one thing about it, if you cannot match my daddy times 3, leave me alone.
Well, the question is,
I said what I said.
The statement is, if you can't help her take care of her, it ain't what you want. And that's for every man and every woman. A man should be able to take care of his wife. And a wife should be able to take care of her husband. It's called mutual.
And you both need to be financially literate.
That's right.
You ain't got to be perfect at it, but that's why it's called, relationships should be complementary. Where you're weak, they're strong. You might make all the money but not know how to handle it the best. And then your spouse know how to handle it but may not make a lot of money. Y'all equaling each other out. Equally yoked does not just mean spiritually, baby.
Right.
Naturally as well. Where I'm strong, you're weak. And where you
complement each other.
And that's just what it is.
Yes, it is.
So, guys, this has been another amazing episode of Man's Glory, where we keep it real biblical. And we will see you guys in episode 14.